Coming up on this week's edition of the Met Report, our women's soccer team goes on the road to try to keep a streak going.
We also have tips for finding that perfect Halloween costume.
And a Metro professor helps out NASA with a big project, and we will tell you all about him. All this and more coming up next. Welcome to this week's edition of the Met Report. I'm Nina Dadabhoy.
And I'm Benjamin Smith. We start with a developing story that happened last Friday, the disappearance of 10-year-old Jessica Ridgway.
She was last seen by her mother when she left her home to meet some friends that she walked to school with. Many tips have been coming into the investigation of the case and reports of similar abduction cases throughout other states. The Westminster Police and the FBI announced earlier this week that Jessica's parents are not suspects in her disappearance. The most recent devastating news is that garbage men found a dismembered body 7 miles away from Jessica's home. Police are still urging everyone, if they know anything that might help with the investigation, to call the tip line at 303-658-4336 or email them at pdamberalert@cityofwestminster.us.
The investigation has now shifted towards finding a suspect. The FBI released a behavioral profile of the suspect and says not to focus on how the person looks, but on how they act. Denver FBI spokesman Dave Jolie says some things to look for is unusual behavior. This unusual behavior can include missing work appointments or changing their appearance. Another is they might be very engaged in the media coverage and maybe even annoyed by how much. Jolie says that this could be anyone you know, your boss, your friend, even a family member. As more details develop on this story, we will let you know. Of all the engineers and scientists that worked on the Mars rover, one of them teaches right here at Metro. Kellen Stone has more.
Aaron Brown, a mechanical engineer technology professor at MSU Denver, has many achievements, even before he became a teacher.
I was a professional cyclist for a while before I went to grad school and worked for NASA and all that. So, and I don't regret that either. I think that was the best experience I ever did.
After a cycling career and finished grad school, Brown got a job working with NASA on the Mars rover.
It's called the descent brake, and the descent brake was basically a big motor that wasn't used as a motor, it was used more like a generator. And it was surrounded by a resistor bank. Resistors are an electronic component. And it took the mechanical energy of lowering the rover, which was a pretty heavy thing. It was like the size of a Mini Cooper. It took that mechanical energy and turned it into electrical energy so that it dampened the descent.
Although he is no longer working with NASA on the Mars mission, he still keeps in contact with them and oversees the NASA Space Grant Program at MSU Denver.
The idea of the grant money is to attract students to get involved in projects which could maybe eventually lead to an interest in getting involved with aerospace and NASA projects.
Professor Brown now wishes to take his engineering career into humanitarian engineering and bring it to the students with a new course.
I started a class here called Humanitarian Engineering, taking I think about a dozen students to Costa Rica in January. And we're going to do a project there. It's a water project. They're building a school, and we're going to help them there. We're going to be there for about 12 days.
We asked Brown what advice he would give to students to achieve their goals and what they want to do.
For me, my philosophy is follow your passion, because we live once, and whatever we end up doing for our careers is something that it takes a lot of our time and our lives and our energy.
Kellen Stone, The Met Report.
Thanks, Kellen. The Phoenix Center is once again available to assist Metro students. The center provides free, confidential resources of survivors of interpersonal violence as well as their friends and families. Located in Tivoli Room 227, the Phoenix Center provides victim advocacy, but also helps victims in the aspect of school. The center offers academic advocacy, assistance reporting incidents to your school and police, safety planning, court, hospital, and police accompaniment, and just a listening ear when you need it most. Next week, the Met Report will fill you in on budget changes for the Phoenix Center that could impact the future of this important program.
It's that time again. Registration is just around the corner. The spring 2013 course schedule will be available starting Monday, October 15th. Be sure to check your registration time on ConnectU under the My Services/Registration tab to ensure that you know when you are able to register for your classes. Also, don't forget to check for any holds on your account that may affect your ability to register.
Have you ever wanted to travel to South America? Well, now you can. The Andean Civilizations course is planning a 3-credit study abroad trip to Peru from May 16th to May 28th, 2013. The educational trip will include stops at a wide variety of must-sees, including the ancient Incan civilization Machu Picchu. Students will learn about the Peruvian culture, eat the local food, and go for a bit of fun dance at a local discotheque. Meetings regarding the trip will be held in Plaza Room 329 on Tuesday, October 16th at 5 p.m. and Wednesday, October 17th at 12:30. For additional information, please contact Susanna Osario at osario@msudenver.edu. With the 2012 elections just around the corner, we have heard students' reactions, but what about professors? Dave Reiser has more.
Many opinions have been vocalized about the first presidential debate, but what did professionals on the Auraria campus think about it?
My reaction to it all, as it was happening, was I was just really confused.
Watching the debates, you see a lot of interrupting. You see points not being able to be finished because of interrupting from the candidates, outright lies.
The substance wasn't there, but I think the way that he presented it was there. Performance was there. Certainly not with President Obama.
There were also some inconsistencies that were noticed during the debate.
But I also think when I started hearing Governor Romney speak that he did not seem the same as he's been talking. He really presented himself much better, didn't have any gaffes or didn't make any mistakes in terms of presenting his information, but the information that he presented did not match what he'd been saying. You haven't been saying this for 18 months. On the 18 months, you've been saying something else.
At what point do we, as citizens, stop and demand for more? And I think that's part of the issue, is that we don't. We feed into it.
In anticipation of the next debate, here are some suggestions for what you should keep in mind while watching.
President Obama, the format is better for him, for his kind of debates. I don't think they're as good for Governor Romney.
Listen to the argument construction. Is there a true argument, and is it backed up with evidence, or is it just simple talking points?
The most difficult thing for most people is to have sort of a critical analysis of people they agree with. It's easy to have a critical analysis of people you disagree with.
For the Met Report, I'm Dave Reiser.
Thanks, Dave, for that special report. Metro State added a new addition to the Student Connection. We go to Brittany Carter for more information.
For Metro students, there are several ways to stay connected. We went around asking, what is the way you stay connected?
Metro connects.
Connect You a lot. I'm always on that.
I use Connect You with the email that has set up through there.
Yeah, I use the Connect You too.
Connect You. I usually use Connect You.
Using Connect You seems to be the most popular option for many students. But now Metro has entered the smartphone world with the MSU Denver app. We asked students if they were aware of this new addition.
No, I didn't. You have one?
I haven't.
No, I don't.
The app provides students with quick access to events, news, courses, grades, and contact information. The app is available on the iPhone and Android. So whichever way you choose, stay connected. For the Met Report, I'm Brittany Carter.
It's actually really cool that they decided to make an app for Metro.
Yeah, no, with all those app choices on there, like your course schedule, the campus map, you don't really have any excuse to be late for class.
Oh.
Coming up after the break, Marigan Mazzani tells us how our Metro sports team did this past weekend in RMAC action.
And a new Halloween costume on eBay that is creating some controversy over who it is.
Believe in yourself, realize that anything is possible, keep your eyes on the prize.
When you're at your weakest point, grace can rise up and pull you out.
So I felt like I was filling a void.
Even when I'm faced with difficult situations, I can always find something to smile about.
Little simple ways. I mean, there's really lots of things you can plug into.
Every year, there are Halloween costumes that just flirt with being too controversial. Last Friday, one appeared for sale on eBay that crossed the line of being too taboo. I looked into perhaps the most debatable costume out there. Shock everyone you know, the ad read. There's nothing more scary than crawling into James Holmes' mind and wearing his face. This described a mask that was custom made in the likeness of James Holmes, the man accused of murdering 12 people in an Aurora movie theater. While many Americans turned to the internet to express their grief, a seller identified as RealFace13 set the bid for $500 on Friday morning, posting the following. Imagine owning the mask of supposedly the most dangerous mass murderer in U.S. history. A spokesperson for the online auction site pulled the listing later that day, saying that eBay doesn't let users make money from human tragedy or suffering. Metro student Martin Sanchez recalls how he reacted when first seeing the mask on eBay.
I actually saw it on one of my apps on my phone, and I was immediately disgusted why somebody would want to make a profit off of somebody that hurt so many people. You shouldn't exploit all these people's pain just to gain a little money.
Sanchez could only speculate on why one would try to profit off of such a tragic event.
The first thing that pops into my head is attention. People take a bad situation and they can feed their own need for attention.
While some chose to make light of the Aurora tragedy, most people use the internet to raise money for the victims, offer condolences, and express their grief in a time of mourning. New counts have been added to the James Holmes case this past week. 14 new counts of attempted murder were added against the former neuroscience grad student. Prosecutors also amended 5 other counts against Holmes. He is due back in court on October 25th, and the judge set a date of January 7th for a preliminary hearing in the case.
The unemployment rate continues to be a hot topic in this election. While the president's campaign boasts a drop in unemployment from 8.1% to 7.8%, the opposition says the numbers just don't add up. What the Bureau of Labor did not add in their latest job report is the number of discouraged workers, the long-term unemployed removed from entitlement, as well as those who are now entering the workforce. While the Romney campaign says the numbers are doctored, the Obama campaign claims Romney has yet to show how he is going to create his proposed 12 million jobs.
Planned Parenthood was recently on campus. A group of individuals gathered around St. Cajetan's with signs to protest the organization. Pro-life organizers gathered with signs around the front of the church, yelling at those who were entering the building. A small crowd of students soon gathered to witness the hostility that grew between both sides of the issue. Police were in attendance to make sure that nothing got out of hand. However, as a precautionary measure, a barricade was constructed to keep the two parties separated. We asked passing students for their thoughts on the abortion issue.
To expose Planned Parenthood for who they are and what they are, that they are not a woman's friend, that they will lie to women in order to perpetuate their agenda, which is population control at its root, and eugenics.
I don't know, I look at these people and their messages are just coming out of hatred for other people, and I guess I'm not pro-life, I'm pro-human.
A bunch of men in suits are the ones who get to decide what a woman gets to do with her body.
With Halloween right around the corner, everyone seems to be on the hunt for the perfect costume. Leah Rayflap has more.
I'm Leah Rayflap, and with Halloween just around the corner, it's crunch time to find a costume. Come along with me as we take a trip through Denver's best costume stores. The first stop I made was at 9797 West Colfax Avenue at Disguises Costume Store and Rentals. The locally owned and operated business has been at this location for over 10 years. Open from 10 a.m. until 9 at night, Disguises offers a huge variety of costume attire, including makeup, wigs, and full dress ensembles. On the other side of town, Flossie McGrew's is hard to look away. Its extravagant outside display attracts customers all year round. Carrying the best vintage and consignment costumes, Flossie McGrew's is easy on your wallet and for sure to bring any costume to perfection. The last stop I made was a little south of Denver in Littleton at Rinky's Brothers Costume Shop, which also includes a haunted house. Get your fill of terror during the month of Halloween while getting all your necessities for your costume. Although the store is run all year long, be sure to catch the haunted house, which only runs through the 31st of this month, from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. and until midnight on Fridays and Saturdays. For the Met Report, Leah Rayflab.
Thanks, Leah. Looks like you had some fun out there. On October 9th, the Toil Swedish Academy of Sciences awarded the 2012 Nobel Prize in Physics jointly to Dr. Serge Hiroche of France and Dr. David J. Wineland of the National Institute of Standards and Technology and of University of Colorado Boulder. According to the Academy, they won the award for groundbreaking experimental methods that enable measuring and manipulation of individual quantum systems.
Imagine huge IMAX screens, plastic glasses, and of course, overpriced tickets. Now keep the 3D concept, take away the glasses, the screen, and all the computer animation, and I give you live theater. Aside from on-campus productions presenting student shows of great quality, Denver offers outstanding professional theater. The Denver Center for the Performing Arts is downtown, located just across Spear Boulevard from the Auraria campus. Currently showing are plays like The Three Musketeers, The Giver, and To Kill a Mockingbird. The DCPA was also recently chosen to launch the national tour of the Book of Mormon. The next big event on tap for the center is the 2010 Tony Award winner of Best Musical, Memphis. Memphis will be opening October 9th. The surrounding theater district downtown offers great dining venues and coffee lounges, the perfect places to visit before or after a show. The rest of the winter season schedule includes performances of White Christmas during the holiday season, War Horse in January, and Chicago, which comes to town for a week in March. Plays like Fences and I Love You, You're Perfect Now Change run through October 14th with tickets still available.
Remember the days when the only supplies you could bring into the classroom were made out of trees? Well, those days are now long in the past. Cell phones, Androids, iPads, and other small electronics have been banned from public schools classrooms since their mass production in the late 1990s. Now, this trend is coming to an end as Douglas County schools have initiated a new district-wide personally owned device policy that allows the use of cell phones, iPods, and iPads in the classroom to date. About 20 of the district's 80 schools are now adopting the initiative, with more following suit almost daily. For more information on which schools will be affected on this change, visit the Douglas County School website. The Met Report spoke to Metro student Joseph Tolman about the new policy on personally owned devices.
I think it's long past due, actually. I think that's by far the future of things. I think it could have changed it in a lot of ways. One thing that would rely on is the teacher actually using the technology in a way that would help me. There is the ability, you have apps that can be made, that can exist and help you in certain areas, give you more visual aids, that sort of things. People that are visual learners might have an easier time with something like an iPad versus a book.
You know, I think it's interesting that Colorado is one of the last states to adopt this policy.
I didn't actually know that, but I'm personally waiting until that policy moves northward to the Auraria campus so I can use this baby. Coming up after the break, Maragon Mizani catches us up with the men's soccer team who is fighting for the postseason's life.
And Karen Vega will take Hollywood a mile high in entertainment.